Consistency beats talent every single time, and that's not just motivation. That's reality. You might not be the smartest, the fastest, or the most gifted person in the room, but if you show up every single day with purpose, discipline, and hunger, you will outlast and outperform those who rely only on talent. See, talent is overrated when it's not backed by work ethic. Talent might open the door, but consistency keeps you in the room. There are people right now with incredible abilities who are sitting on the sidelines because they lack discipline, because they only move when they feel like it. But winners, they don't wait for feelings. They show up regardless. They grind when it's uncomfortable, when it's boring, when nobody is watching, and when there's no applause. That's the difference. Consistency is about making a commitment to yourself and honoring it daily, no matter what obstacles show up in your life. It's waking up early when your body wants to sleep. It's putting in the extra hour when your mind says that's enough. It's pushing through doubt, fear, and fatigue because your goals matter more than your excuses. You see, success is not built in one moment of greatness. It's built in thousands of small, consistent actions repeated over time. It's the days you didn't want to train, but you did anyway. The moments you felt like quitting, but you stayed. The times you failed, but chose to get back up again. That's where greatness is born. Most people want instant results. They want success overnight. They want recognition without putting in the work. But life doesn't work like that. The real ones understand that consistency compounds. What you do daily shapes your future. Every repetition, every effort, every focused moment adds up. And while others are distracted, inconsistent, and giving up too soon, you're building momentum. And momentum, that's unstoppable. Once you get into that rhythm of showing up daily, it becomes who you are. It's no longer something you force, it becomes your identity. You become the person who doesn't quit, who doesn't fold under pressure, who keeps going when everyone else stops. And that identity is powerful because it creates confidence. Not fake confidence, but real confidence built on proof. You've seen yourself push through hard days, you've watched yourself grow, you've earned that belief in yourself. And once you have that, nobody can take it away from you. Understand this. Consistency is not glamorous. It's not always exciting, it's repetitive, it's tough, and sometimes it feels like you're not making progress. But that's the test. That's where most people fail. They get bored, they get discouraged, they lose focus. But you can't afford to be like that. If you want something different, you have to do something different. You have to commit to the process, not just the outcome, because the outcome will come, but only if you stay consistent long enough. So stop looking for shortcuts. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Start where you are, use what you have, and give everything you've got every single day. Because in the end, it's not about who started first or who had more talent. It's about who stayed consistent. And if you can master that, you can change your entire life. Small actions, repeated every single day, create massive results over time. That's the real power of consistency. People often underestimate what they can achieve because they're too focused on quick wins and instant gratification. They want big results fast, but they ignore the little things that actually lead to greatness. Listen, success is not about one big move. It's about 1,000 small moves done right, again and again, without stopping. It's about that extra hour you put in when nobody's watching, that one more repetition when your body is tired, that decision to stay focused when distractions are everywhere. Those small choices might not seem like much in the moment, but over time they stack up, they multiply, and they transform you into someone unstoppable. The problem is, most people don't stay consistent long enough to see the results. They start strong, they get excited, but when things slow down or progress feels invisible, they quit. They think it's not working, but the truth is it's working. You just haven't stayed in the game long enough. Consistency is like planting seeds. You don't plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow. You water it daily, you protect it, you stay patient, and eventually it grows. But if you stop watering it, if you give up too soon, you kill the process before it has a chance to succeed. That's exactly how your goals work. Every day you show up and do the work, you're watering your future. Every effort, no matter how small, is building something bigger than you can see right now. And here's where it gets powerful. Consistency creates momentum. Once you build a rhythm of taking action daily, it becomes easier to keep going. You don't have to rely on motivation anymore because your habits take over. You become disciplined, you become focused, you become locked in, and when you reach that level, you separate yourself from the average. Because average people stop when it gets hard, but consistent people push through. Average people chase excitement, but consistent people commit to the grind. And that grind, that's where transformation happens. It's not pretty, it's not always fun, but it's necessary. You've got to embrace the process, even when it feels slow, even when nobody recognizes your effort, even when you're doubting yourself. Because every single day you stay consistent, you're getting closer to your breakthrough. And one day, all those small actions will explode into big results. People will look at you and think it happened overnight, but you'll know the truth you earned it day by day, step by step. That's why you can't afford to quit. You can't afford to slack off. You've got to stay committed to the little things because they are the big things. So don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Don't wait for motivation to hit. Start now, stay consistent, and trust the process. Because if you keep showing up, if you keep putting in the work, if you keep stacking those small wins, success is not a possibility, it's a guarantee. Discipline over motivation, that's the real secret behind the power of consistency. Everybody talks about motivation like it's the key to success, but motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. One day you feel unstoppable, the next day you don't even feel like getting out of bed. If you rely on motivation, you'll lose every time, but discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline is a decision. It's a commitment you make to yourself that no matter what happens, no matter how tired, how stressed, how distracted you are, you will show up and do the work. That's where consistency is born. It's built in those moments when you don't feel like it, but you do it anyway. That's the difference between average and greatness. Average people wait until they feel good to take action. Great people take action, and that's what creates results, which eventually creates motivation. You've got to flip the script. Stop waiting to feel ready and start moving regardless of how you feel. Because the truth is, you will never always feel ready. There will always be excuses. I'm tired. I'll start tomorrow. I don't have enough time. But those are just barriers your mind creates to keep you comfortable. And if you keep listening to them, you'll stay stuck. Discipline breaks that cycle. Discipline says, I don't care about excuses. I care about results. It forces you to act when it's inconvenient, when it's uncomfortable, when it's hard. And let's be real, it will be hard. Consistency is not easy. It requires sacrifice. It requires focus. It requires you to say no to distractions, to cut off things that don't serve your purpose, and to stay locked in on your goals even when the world is pulling you in different directions. But that's the price of success. You can't have results without discipline. You can't build anything meaningful if you only show up when it's easy. The power of discipline is that it turns actions into habits, and habits into identity. At first, It feels forced. You have to push yourself, but over time it becomes automatic. You don't even think about it, you just do it. That's when consistency becomes your lifestyle, not just something you try occasionally. And when you reach that level, you become dangerous, because now nothing can stop you. You're not controlled by your emotions anymore. You're not distracted by temporary feelings. You've built a system that keeps you moving forward no matter what. That's real power, and understand this. Discipline doesn't just change your results, it changes you. It builds mental toughness, it builds resilience. It teaches you how to push through pain, how to handle pressure, and how to keep going when others quit. That's what separates winners from everyone else. So stop chasing motivation. Stop waiting for the perfect mood or the perfect moment. It's not coming. What you need is discipline. What you need is a decision to show up every single day and give your best, even when your best doesn't feel like enough. Because if you can master discipline, consistency will follow. And if you stay consistent long enough, success is inevitable. Consistency builds confidence and identity, and that's where the real transformation happens. At the beginning of any journey, you might doubt yourself. You might question whether you're capable, whether you're good enough, whether you can really achieve what you're aiming for. That doubt is normal. Everybody feels it. But what separates winners from everyone else is not the absence of doubt. It's the decision to keep showing up despite it. Every single time you follow through on your commitment, every time you do what you said you were going to do, you build trust with yourself. In that trust, that's where confidence is born, not from words, not from hype, but from action. Real confidence comes from proof. It comes from seeing yourself push through hard days, from knowing that even when things get tough, you don't quit. That's what consistency gives you. It gives you evidence that you are reliable, disciplined, and capable of growth. And over time, that evidence stacks up. It changes how you see yourself. You stop identifying as someone who starts and stops, someone who makes excuses, someone who gives up. Instead, you become the person who finishes, the person who shows up no matter what, the person who keeps going when everyone else falls off. That identity is powerful because once you believe that's who you are, your actions align with it automatically. You don't have to force consistency anymore. It becomes natural. You become consistent because that's who you are. And when your identity shifts like that, everything changes. Your standards rise. Your focus sharpens. Your tolerance for excuses disappears. You start demanding more from yourself, not because someone else is pushing you, but because you expect greatness from yourself. That's the power of consistency. It doesn't just improve your results. It transforms your mindset. It rewires the way you think and act. And with that new identity comes unshakable confidence, not the kind that disappears when things go wrong, but the kind that stays solid even in difficult moments. Because you know deep down that you've put in the work, you know that you've stayed consistent, you know that you can handle whatever comes your way because you've already proven it to yourself. And let's be clear, this doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes repetition. There will be days when you feel like you're not making progress, days when you question if it's worth it. But those are the moments that matter most. Because every time you push through, every time you stay consistent despite the struggle, you're reinforcing that identity. You're becoming stronger, more focused, more resilient, and eventually people will start to notice. They'll see your growth, your confidence, your results. They'll ask how you did it, what your secret is. And the answer will be simple. It was consistency. It was showing up every day, putting in the work, and refusing to quit. That's what built you, that's what changed you. So if you want confidence, if you want to become unstoppable, don't look for shortcuts. Don't wait for validation. Commit to consistency. Build that discipline. Prove to yourself day after day that you are who you say you are. Because once your identity aligns with your actions, there's nothing in this world that can hold you back.